Alright YouTube, so I'm going to be doing a little series on the Honda Ridgeline here. It's our little work truck. We use it pretty hard, does a lot of towing, does a lot of, I wouldn't say off-roading, but dirty working conditions. Drives through a lot of tall water, mud, all the above pretty much. Drives through snow, that kind of stuff. So it gets worn out pretty good. It works hard for a living, I guess you should say. And it hasn't been badly maintained, but it's got some things that we need to work on. I just did a video on this rear tail light. You guys will see after towards the end of this video. So if you're looking for that video, feel free to skip ahead, and you guys can see how to install this nice new rear tail lamp. That one's new, and that's the older one. But a lot of people don't know much about these trucks. A lot of people don't even consider them trucks. But I thought I'd just give you guys a little rundown of what this truck is and how it works and all that stuff. But this is going to be a little series video of maintenance repairs, I guess you should say. You'll guys see that little taillight one shortly at the end of this video. And the biggest one we're going to focus on here coming up, once I get the parts in, is we're going to be replacing a power steering pump here. These are notorious on these Hondas, whether it's like an Odyssey or a Ridgeline. I haven't heard so much from the Pilot, but they're pretty notorious for these power steering pumps. This one still has power steering, but it's barely there at idle and that kind of stuff. Or if you like turning into a parking space really slow, you got to labor pretty hard to get the wheel to turn. So, and I've had it go out once. Maybe I'll tack that little video of right after the video I'm going to show you here is when I sort of lost power steering for about 20 seconds, and it was not fun going back to the old days of no power steering. So we're going to be putting a new pump in, and along with that we're going to be installing a new serpentine belt, or accessory belt as some people like to call it. That runs the power steering, air conditioner, alternator, water pump I believe on this one, and yeah, it's ran off the flywheel there. But that's something to look forward to here in the near future. And I know a lot of people have questions about what exactly does it look like under the hood of a Honda Ridgeline, and this is what it looks like. It's got a 3.5 liter V6 with VTEC. It's mounted this way, which is if you have a normal, usually American truck, they're mounted this way. I can't remember the exact terminology, excuse my ignorance I guess, but it's mounted this way, which really freaks normal, people that have had, I guess, American trucks or pretty much any other truck out there. Freaks them out because the engine they think is mounted the wrong way. But in this truck, this is the right way, and it really doesn't cause any issues, and it actually gives you quite a bit more room to work, at least in the front area here. And a lot of the American trucks have manual clutch fans and that kind of stuff. This is electric. But other than the things I've just mentioned, this truck's pretty much been flawless. It hasn't had any issues. It sucks gas down like anything else, but it's a good truck. It's been a good truck. It tows fine. It pulls really good for a V6. Doesn't have any problems with hills and that kind of stuff. It has probably definitely the best four-wheel drive system out there. I would gamble that the four-wheel drive system on this truck is better than any American truck out there. It's all-time four-wheel drive, so the four-wheel drive is, I guess all-wheel drive, should I technically say, because people call me out on it. But it's all-wheel drive, so it sort of decides when to engage four-wheel drive. I've never been stuck in it, and I've driven through like 3 foot of snow before, using the front bumper as the snow plow, I guess you should say. I've never seen this truck stuck, and I have towed multiple people out with this truck, including the American-made trucks. So this truck, a lot of people like to hate on it, but it makes its own, I guess. It does have a locking differential, I guess. A lot of people will call me out for that, but that's practically very similar to a locking differential. It's called VTM 4 lock right here. That's what they call it. And I really don't use that ever, pretty much. I do occasionally use it when like pulling something out, like just so I don't slip in the yard or something like that. If I'm pulling a tree out or something, I'll engage it so I don't dig a rut in the yard or something like that. But I've never had to really use it when I'm stuck or anything. Four-wheel drive generally takes care of it, and it's really good four-wheel drive. I know I'm saying a lot four-wheel drive, but I'll let you guys take a look underneath it if we can actually see anything. But yep, there we go. There's the drive shaft, exhaust. There's the front yoke there, the transmission. And then if we scoot on down, actually I'm going to move to the other side where we can see it a little better. I'm just giving you guys a rundown here. If you guys want to watch the taillight video, just skip towards the end there. If you don't care less about the truck, or you already own the truck and know how awesomely good these trucks are. There's more exhaust stuff. Skip down here so you guys can see the rear differential. There's the rear diff, rear yoke. Being four-wheel drive, you can see each drive shaft there. And this is independent rear. Well, actually, the whole suspension is independent, so they all move separately. There's no big axle in the end. It's just a big differential there with a whole bunch of clutch packs. That's made by Borg-Warner, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's the VTM 4 lock. Pretty much a glorified differential. And on our truck at least, we got the Michelin LTX M/X. Pretty much I think most Ridgeline owners go for these tires. And there's plenty of tread on these ones. Back tires of these don't wear out as fast as the front. And we don't rotate them just because they're expensive tire. so we only have to buy two at once, pretty much. But yep, that's got a smaller bed. I haven't really found anything that doesn't fit in it. It's I don't know if the bed liner is removable, but I think I've seen some people coat it before. It's a plastic, really hard plastic. I've heard the new Ridgeline that's coming out here in January has an even stronger one. You have lights in the bed here, lights up front there, light over there, light over here. And another nice thing is you got tow hooks on pretty much, you can see it in that corner, right there, a whole bunch of tie-down joints. Those things are so useful. And I've seen trucks without them, and it's a pain trying to tie stuff down. So these tie-down points are really strong, really durable, and are really good for holding stuff in, I guess. A little bit of secret about this truck. Got the normal tailgate, works like a normal truck this way. But you can also, there's a little handle under here you can grab. Open it up this way. Which you don't know how many times that becomes useful until you don't have it, or how nice that is until you don't have it. You can get right up next to the truck here if you have something really close to the tailgate you want to get or something like that. Or you really hate when, like, if your normal truck, you have mulch in the back and the mulch gets down the little seam, you can't do anything about it. This, you just swing it open and brush it out. And here is a nice little thing on this truck. Got this rear trunk. You can see it's got a big container down here. This is another really useful thing, and something that I'd have a hard time not having in a truck, I guess. This is pretty much really good for groceries. Gas cans. I like putting gas cans in here because if I put gas cans in the back, they have a tendency to flop around or slide everywhere or splash. You put them in here, this stay still, don't move around, and don't fall over and that kind of stuff. Put groceries in here, put anything in here, and you can actually fill this up with ice filled up with ice and make it cooler. You can see there's a little drain right here. Or I mean, if you want a jacuzzi or something, and your spare tire's in here also. I think that's a Continental tire maybe. But yeah, that's a nice little feature about this truck. You can see all the lights lit up in here. These lights are really bright at night, help you see. Not really any wheel wells in here like on some of the other trucks. But yeah, we have the towing package on ours. Tow's really good. We don't have a trailer brake or anything. 5,000 pounds, this truck can haul just fine without it, but long distances, maybe like something really long but really light, maybe a big RV or something like that, you probably would want some trailer brakes to help you control it. But we've hauled 5,000 pounds just fine using the truck brakes, and it didn't feel sloppy or running all over the road or anything like that. You got a big tie down thing right there for pulling bushes and stuff. Exhaust is on that side. Big muffler, something dented that, as you can see. Yep, that's pretty much the Ridgeline, the outside of the Ridgeline in a nutshell. The stuff that really matters about a truck, I guess. Guess it locked me to the front door here, but it's not the prettiest truck in the world. Like I said, the new one has a different grille than this. This is the Canadian model, so it's got the older grille onto it. But sorry, got a whole bunch of controls here, that kind of stuff. Just non-professional, not making a review or anything about it, just give you a rundown so you sort of see what I'm talking about when I do these repairs and whatnot. Lights down here, got more parking brake release, cruise control, VSA, headlights, cargo lights, sunroof, that kind of stuff, panel brightness. We've got a whole cruise control over here, radio controls, Honda emblem, column mounted shifter, your display control right here, selection reset, differential lock, radio, little cubby hole, and air conditioning controls, big power outlets here, heated seats, which is nice, little flip down cubbies here, tons of little odds and ends. Like I said, this is a work truck, so it's going to be super dirty, don't mind that. Little coin thing, this slides out if you want your armrest thing. Center console, of course, 1,000-ton, you get a little trash bin, I guess, if you will make it that. Goes like that, you can put a whole bunch of stuff in there. Seat over here, more stuff. Little junk collectors, pockets, stuff like that over there. Like I said, this isn't a really spec'd out truck. It's a nice truck, but it's definitely feeling its age about now. Geo crap handles. Like I said, this truck does really good in off-roading, and it's pretty muddy underneath. Pretty dirty. I think we've had some rain recently, so it looks cleaner than it really should be. You can see, got all kinds of leg room back here. So, rear conditioning, more power outlets and hooks, that kind of thing. Headrest right there, sliding rear window. But yeah, I know a lot of guys ask me about what truck I use for landscaping and that kind of stuff. And this is the one. This is the truck that I use. So, yep. Look forward to the power steering pump video, I guess, and the little rear turn signal light video is going to be tacked onto this as well. Well, actually, that's going to be the main video, but I guess this video is going to be sort of the introduction of this. But, yep. Let's get to doing that rear tail light, shall we? I figured I should mention this as well. Since many of you guys, I'm assuming since I'm going to make this sort of a broad video, are going to come here, and if you don't know how to replace your rear tail light, which it's a really simple task if you do, it's very important that you get the right light for the Ridgeline here. The biggest thing, well, the only difference really, as you can see, this is the new light. I got it from a company there off of Amazon, from Taiwan, I guess it came in. But as you can see, here's the new one. There's the old one. Mine looks the same like the old one. You always want to double check that. And if you don't have your Ridgeline, or maybe the tail lights, you don't have the tail lights for some odd reason, I don't know. To figure out which light you need to look at where the Ridgeline's made. The Ridgeline's either made in Canada or it's made in Alabama. If your Ridgeline's made in Canada, like this truck is made in Canada, it's going to have a yellow turn signal like this. Let's see the yellow turn signal? Got a yellow turn signal there. So this one's made in Canada. If you have the red brake light and the red turn signal, so everything's red except this, then you have the Alabama made Ridgeline. So if you don't have your taillights, that's the easy way to tell. You can just look at your sticker, and if it says Honda manufacturing of, I think it's Ontario or Canada, then you want to get the one with the yellow light. And if it says Honda manufacturing of Alabama, you want to get the one with the red turn signal and red brake light. So that's just a little quick notice on which ones to get if you're confused. The easiest thing to do is just go look at your vehicle and see which color one you have. And if you don't, and also side note is the left turn signal is going to be the driver's left, and the right is going to be the passenger side. So that's important to know when you're doing this. So, with that said, pretty much the only tool you'll need for this job, that I'm pretty sure you will need it, this is the only one, is going to be just a 10mm socket. I didn't have a 5-point, but this 12-point I guess will do. A small extension, not necessary, but probably will be helpful. And just a ratchet. Now this is, I'm using a 3/4, but it really doesn't matter. So the first bolts you want to attack are the ones, this bolt right here and this one. So you want to just loosen them up. Now depending on exactly what your truck is outfitted with and whatnot, it might look a little different in here with the wiring, which the wiring really doesn't matter to you since you're just changing the lamp. But I have a towing package on mine, so it's going to be, there's going to be a few more connections in here. Sorry, I couldn't spit that out. Because the towing package sort of hooks into the brake and turn signal and reverse lights and all that stuff. So it might be a little bit more crowded. Just depends on which one you have. If you have a towing kit on yours or not. As you can see, the rust on here, it's just a little enough rust to make a bolt be a pain in the neck to get out. This truck spent about 4 years up north, so it's not perfectly clean, but it's not like southern truck rust, I guess. And for some reason, this truck does not like lights. It has a tendency to blow a lot of lights, like headlights and taillights. The bulbs in them just don't last long for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why, but like even inside, the lights don't last. You have to replace like little map lights and stuff like that. So yep, just 2 bolts inside the tailgate here. And they're 10 mils, and it should just pop right out like that. I'll swing you guys over here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Okay, now you can see what's going on in here. Now all this extra wiring, especially with the electrical tape here, that's from the towing package. So if you don't have the towing package, you probably won't see that. This cable right here is the one that you're concerned with. This is just going to be your turn signal and your reverse and your brake. Your turn signal is going to be the one with the green and yellow line. Your reverse is going to be your red and green, and your brake light is going to be your red, black, green, and white. So now that you got the tail light off, very simple job. Pull you back here. Got the tail light off. You want to unplug all of these connectors. These just twist out like that. Try to avoid touching the bulb if you can. It's not as bad as a headlight, but it's not always the best thing to do to touch them. They have a tendency to heat up, and especially with this one where it has a tendency to cause problems. And there you go. You got your tail light out. Now, Honda has a tendency to make servicing your car like this really easy. I mean, there's nothing really to that, to be honest. So, here's the new one. That's the new one we'll be installing. Nice and new. No water in it. Who knows where it's from. I don't know who's the original manufacturer of this. Yeah, this is a Honda OEM taillight. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, Honda. It's OEM. But we're going to put in this aftermarket one just because it's like 50 bucks. So the new one has all these little covers on it. Pull those things off like so. And then expose it here. And the new turn signals and brake lights and all that kind of stuff should just snap right in. And the turn signal is like a 1/8 turn. So is the reverse light. And that seems a little loose. We're going to have to double check that. Let's see here. That one's going in a little weird, so I'm going to rotate it a bit here. There we go. Make sure it's locked, which it is. Alright, and just like that. You see it all goes in like that. Not very hard. And as you can see, another notable thing here, as you can see, there's little holes right here. You have little pegs in your lamp. So you want to bring those around. Careful about pinching the cords and stuff if you have a lot of cords in it. Line those pegs up in there, push it in, not too hard, and then you want to go back and put those screws back in. Now, it's probably a good idea to put things like never sees on this and stuff. I don't have that. It's not something I normally do, but if you live somewhere where rust is a big issue, it's something you might want to consider. But as you can see, these screws don't really go in that bad, especially that bottom one. Now that I said that, I'm sure it's going to be a pain to get in. There it goes. Okay. Like that. Give them a little tight down. Now I'm sure, knowing Honda, there's torque specs to this, but I'm just going to tighten it down. They don't need to be crazy tight. That. Pretty sure it's in metal too. There's a little metal insert into the light. The fitting seems fine. Check it with this side. Yeah, it feels good. You can see the light is in there now. Now, we should probably test it. See if I can turn some lights on here. Pretty much should be every light going there, except the brake. Which, as you can see, the reverse, got the flashers, got the running lights, And I'll hit the brakes real quick so you guys can see that that works as well. As you can see, it worked out fine, I hope. I saw the reflection off the camera, so I'm assuming it worked good, and I saw it when I showed you guys, so that pretty much sums up doing the tail light on a Honda Ridgeline. Not very hard at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure anybody with 2 arms can do it. If you have any problems, let me know, and we'll get started with the next portion of this series when I get the power steering pump in. We'll get started on that. This one's just sort of a nice intro to get you guys started. Thanks for watching, and look forward to the next video. Thanks.